on schedule. I'm actually ahead of schedule right now. This is day 5 of training for the Muscle Up world record, 24-hour one to be specific, that is currently at 2,150. I think I'm healed up from last time of doing 205. Go ahead and reset the clicker here to 0. All right, we're at 0. Hands are a little messed up. I don't know if you can really see just how blistered and calloused my hands are, but that's why we're going to take extra care of the hands today. We're going to use gloves, sponges, hand pads, and we got the bar wrap still. Got the umbrella out just to protect my phone from the sun. It will overheat if it's out in the sun recording for hours and hours straight. But yeah, this is going to be a brutal one, I think. Last time I made it to 200, I was still feeling nice and fresh. So this time we'll see how I'm feeling when I get to 250. But definitely got to wrap these hands up nice, because I feel like that's going to be my main issue, is just keeping them from getting absolutely destroyed. And hopefully the stream doesn't automatically cut off like it did last time. I don't know when it cut off, but it was only like an hour, 30 minutes in. I don't know if I lost connection or what. And then I had to do a second stream of me finishing it. So I don't know how many in between weren't recorded, but the goal is to have this always recording so that I can prove I'm actually doing what I say I'm doing the whole way of my training. All right, I'm gonna have to change my watch around a little bit. Yeah, just like ultra marathon running, the main thing that gets absolutely destroyed when you do hundreds of miles on your feet is your feet. Very similar in this situation is my hands, because that's the point of contact, take the most damage when doing something like this. So we're wrapping them up very nicely. We're going to try not to take too long doing this today. I'm going to work on my pace a little bit. But we're only in day 5, so I'm still not pushing myself to the absolute limits. I want to try to ease my way into it to avoid any injury or prolong recovery. All right, so the sponge is underneath the pads, giving me a little bit of extra cushion, because there are giant blisters on my hands still. And really nothing more to it but to get to it. We're at 0. Let's go ahead and get warmed up. It is interesting how long it takes to get warmed up when you're doing something like this. It could take up to 50 reps just to get going, just to get my body feeling loose. It's always going to feel a little rusty at first, which can be very discouraging when you've got hundreds to do. But I'm thinking we should reach the goal of 250 relatively easy today. And I was going to do 300, but I'm like, you know what? I've been going up by 50. It's been working perfect. I don't want to ruin the schedule now. But once I get to 400, then I'll be going up by increments of 100. And last time I realized just how easy it is to do one over and over and over again, because on the dismount, I can just drop straight down instead of having to catch myself. Because catching yourself from this position, you generate a lot of energy. So you have to slowly let yourself down and catch yourself. Doing that hundreds of times adds up to where it becomes very exhausting. If you can cut that out of the picture by doing one rep and just dropping straight down, you can actually conserve a lot of energy. So I'm going to keep that in mind. The more I split up the reps, the more energy I can conserve just off the dismount alone. So muscle up is from a dead hang to here. This is a completed muscle up. So from there, I can just drop down and try to save as much energy as possible. So that's what I'm going to be doing as much as possible. But obviously, to speed things up, I'm going to have to do more than one rep at a time. But hopefully I can get this one done pretty easily. Oh, forgot to start my stopwatch. Let's go ahead and start that. And the goal here is to be doing at least one set every minute, possibly even every 30 seconds, but we'll see how that goes. But I'm pretty surprised how easily the training has gone so far. Last time I made it to 200 and I was just feeling warmed up. Like I wasn't even really that sore. Went to 205. And today we're going to do at least 250. So it is becoming exponentially like faster and easier. But it is going to be a hot one today. So got my umbrellas. Going to try to keep myself from getting absolutely burnt to a crisp. So that's why I'll be hiding back here sometimes. Just watching the clock tick away while I hide in the shade. And again, I'm just now getting warmed up, so there's no point in really pushing myself that hard too early. I will gas out, and it's just not good to start yourself in a place of exhaustion and fatigue. That starts to creep into your mental. You start thinking about how much more you have to go. But if you can keep from reaching that point of fatigue, you just coast right through it the whole way. So it's very important not to push yourself too hard early on. So unfortunately, that can make for a boring stream, but this is just how I got to do the training right now. So we're at 11 already. How you guys doing today? Is the chat working? Can you guys hear me? Yeah, this is really just a mind game more than anything. It's not that much of a physical challenge, although it seems like it's 100% physical. It's not. I'm not that strong. I'm not that good at calisthenics. I'm not really even in the calisthenics world. I'm in the very lower level. in the overall fitness world, I'm pretty high up, but in just the calisthenics world, I'm not that impressive. The only thing I have going for me is the will to just suffer for hours and hours and hours. That's all I've really got on my side. And I know through Christ, all things are possible. So I'm here to demonstrate that and give glory to God. $15. It is already warming up fast. I wanted to get out here kind of early this morning, but it's still hot. So it's going to be interesting to see how the summer goes with the temperatures rising and trying to manage, the overall heat and stay consistent in my training. So if I do that or I just drop down really hard, I would rather do that and then start again than to catch myself like this and have to start from that position. Catching myself just consumes way too much energy. Yeah, I started out on day one with 50 muscle ups, and I've been going up by 50 every time. So that's why I'm on 250 on day 5. I'm actually surprised at how well this is going. I don't know if at a certain point I'll reach a plateau or not. But as far as I can tell, I won't. It'll just be a matter of keeping my mind sharp and enduring the time that it takes to do this. Um, because I'm gonna get to the point where I'm doing over 1,000 every training session, and that's gonna be pretty brutal. Again, I would rather drop down like that and just do another one than to catch myself every time. So I need to look at the official standards for Guinness, but I know what I'm doing is a good form muscle up. So I know these are counting. And there's no reason that you shouldn't be able to do 1 rep at a time. So I'm guessing this strategy will be perfectly fine. Someone drop a comment in the chat. I just want to make sure that the chat is actually working. How are you guys doing today? Where's everyone from? I think I am beating my time by a lot so far. My pace should be going pretty quickly. And now that I'm getting to the point where I can just do 1 rep over and over and over again without fatiguing, that's pretty much all I have to be able to do. no injury, and just be able to complete one rep, I can just spam that over and over and over again. As long as I'm doing at least 2 every minute, then I can beat the record. 2 every minute is not a lot to do. So, yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm wondering what the next obstacle will be. Probably a mental barrier where I'm just like so sick of doing these. But right now, I'm feeling extremely confident. What's up, Spin Lane? How you doing today? I appreciate the comment. Any engagement really keeps the monotony down. It keeps the boredom away. And these go by so much quicker. I used to do pull-up training by the thousands completely alone, just me, myself, and I, and some music. I do miss the music a little bit. I can't really listen to music while I'm streaming that well. But talking to you guys really makes it so much easier. So yeah, sorry if the one rep over and over and over again is really boring and seems like cheating, but I've got to master this technique in order to see how far it can carry me. Because catching myself really damages the hands. When you drop down and you have to catch yourself, it creates a huge friction point that rips open blisters like it's nothing. So when I drop down, I try to just drop to my feet with as much weight on my feet as possible so I'm not catching myself over and over again with the hands. It saves a lot of energy and a lot of damage. And the crazy thing is, I know there's dudes out there who could do this record very, very easily. We're at 25. There's some calisthenics guys out there, some endurance athletes out there. As long as they have the correct form, they could smash this record to pieces. That's why I'm trying to hurry up and get it before they realize just how low this record is. The pull-up record, on the other hand, everyone has been just piling on top of each other, and now it's at like 12,000. Insane number. So I might try for that after I'm done with this, but I figure while this is still low, I need to go ahead and get it. All right, Spin. I think the shirt's gonna have to come off for a bit. It's just too hot. So just to keep my body temperature down, gonna have to roll shirtless for a little bit. I should probably put my hair up too, but kind of a staple. So we'll leave the hair down in my face. Just learn some extra patience by having my hair in my face annoying me. As you can see, my chest doesn't make contact with the bar. That's how you do a proper muscle up. If you're slamming your chest into the bar, that's, for one, that's dangerous. you could definitely like crack a rib or your sternum or something. But for two, it's just not good form. Definitely feeling like I can just spam one over and over and over again. That's really all I needed to get to was that ability. And then even if I have to do it for 24 hours straight, yes, it's going to hurt, but the amount of numbers I can climb to with that amount of time is insane. So it does get to a point where there's no real difference between doing this for 5 hours and doing this for 24. The only difference would be pain. But as far as like physical capability, my body can regenerate the stamina that it takes to do a rep every single minute. So it's more so just a mind game and a pain game than actual physical ability game. 30. Gotta try to stay in the shade as much as possible though. 'Hands are feeling pretty good at this point, but I will say all this extra padding does take away from my actual grip strength. 33. The interesting thing about training like this is there's such a fine line between doing it fast enough so you can get it over with as quick as possible and not going too fast to where you fatigue. You don't even want to really start to begin to feel fatigued. Like I said, that adds to the mental game. So it's such a fine line finding that perfect pace. Appreciate it, brother. Hope you're having a good day at work. Love the support, brother. The training is going actually ahead of schedule right now, so I'm very confident that by Halloween I will have this record. Possibly even a lot sooner. It really just depends how my body's feeling and when I can get everything organized to go for Guinness to come out and beat the record. So that's really like the hardest part of this, honestly, is just the logistics of getting a judge out. There has to be like 2 cameras, a timekeeper who's official, someone who's like trained in physical, you know, just like physical therapy, I guess, just to make sure that, there's some kind of medical advice because this can be a really dangerous record to attempt. Um, there's a lot of things that go into a record that's a 24-hour record, and that's probably the hardest part of doing this. Appreciate it, brother. Noticing my transitions getting a lot easier, so I can keep from getting too sore in this area right here. That's where the transition happens, right in there. Whew, that's what'll get you in these muscle ups. But I'm noticing I'm getting exponentially stronger in that whole area. And my arms and my back are already plenty strong enough to do this because I can do over 2,000 pull ups. So I really haven't even been getting that sore in my arms. It's been mostly just in my shoulder and my triceps. 38. What I need to get is like, they make these counters to where it's like a laser, I guess, that goes across the top. And every rep, it'll count for me. And I can have that big and facing the screen so you guys can just see. And then a time clock as well so you guys can see how long it's been taking me. So that's probably the next thing I'll get. I was going to get a green screen just to make the background effects really nice. But I'm like, I don't want to add too much editing and fake stuff in because right now I'm trying to accomplish a world record. I don't want anyone to think that I'm somehow cheating or editing it, changing it in any way. So I probably will still get a green screen just to make it more entertaining. But right now, while I'm doing the record, I want to keep everything as vanilla as possible. Forty. So almost to 50, which would be 1/5 of the way done. And I haven't even got fully warmed up yet. So it's a good sign. I will do more consecutive reps in the future just to really build my endurance and stamina. Right now, I'm just trying to see how far and how easy this one rep at a time can take me. But obviously, I can do more than that. I just don't see a reason why. I need to look at footage of the people who beat the record last time to see, how their form was, what their technique was, how many they're doing per minute. Just really study what they did, see if I can learn anything new from it. But I haven't even really looked at it yet. That'll be my next task, is like really studying the people who have beat this record and how they did it. But this one rep at a time thing, it's just such a life hack. I never get tired doing it like this. So obviously, I could do more than one at a time. Problem is catching myself every time just wastes too much energy. 43. So I'm chilling back here in the shade if you're wondering why I'm so far away. I think the sun is my biggest enemy right now. Trying my best not to get sunburned. Odifo. I think I actually do have something that can go under my hat and give me a little more shade, like a shawl. Might try to find it in a minute. Because I know my shirt will definitely go flying off. 'All right, I'm gonna take the sponges out for a second and see how my hands are feeling. They haven't taken any damage yet. It's the best part about the sponges. You could do hundreds, thousands of reps and take zero damage. The only part that sucks is you lose grip strength. Over time, that affects the rest of your strength too, because if you're having to grip harder, that tenses all the other muscles as well. So it adds to fatigue. So it's like, do I want more fatigue and less hand damage, or do I want more hand damage and less fatigue? That's a point I'm at now where I have to make that decision. 47. I'll see how the battery life on my phone's doing. Pretty good. So we're at 48, just at 30 minutes. And the trick to something like this is just to keep on pushing through. The second you start to slow down and take more time just to avoid the pain for a few more seconds, which doesn't make sense. Like, I'm gonna have to do another set. Waiting a few seconds doesn't make it hurt less. It doesn't make it easier. The only thing that makes this easier is getting done as quick as possible so that it's over with and I can relax. Um, so it's tricky to convince your brain that waiting another second isn't going to actually help you. So just get up there and do another set. If you take too long of a break doing something like this, your body will start to lock up. Same thing with like ultra runners. You sit down for too long after, let's say you're running a 200-mile race, you've already ran 100 miles. You sit down for too long, it's going to be very painful to get back up. Um, and eventually, as you get warmed up again, you'll start to feel loosened up. But it's crazy how much your body can start to lock up just from like a 5-minute break. All right, that's 50. We're 1/5 of the way there. This has been extremely easy so far. I'm still not even fully warmed up yet. I can tell like I still feel a little rusty, but feeling really good overall. All right, I'm gonna go see if I have that hat thing so I can have extra shade protection. Let me go run and grab it. All right, hopefully I don't enter the purgatory like I did last time where I had no viewers for hours and then it turned out the live wasn't even actually recording. So dozens of reps didn't get recorded. It didn't even tell me it wasn't recording. It acted like it was still there. But we're gonna throw on this under my hat just to add for extra protection from the sun. All right, let's see how that feels. Feeling good. I can even put some water on this if I want to. It'll add a little bit of cooling. 53. YouTube, you better actually work this time. I'm not doing all this, recording all this, not listening to music just so it can get cut off halfway through and not even tell me that it's not recorded. $54. It acts like, oh, if there's no viewers, we don't even have to record this anymore. No, I'm recording this so I have documentation of all the training that I've done. $55. Let's go, baby. All right, we're going to try one every 30 seconds and just see how that pace feels for now. But even doing one takes like 10 seconds. So really, that's only 20 seconds to cool down in between. So I imagine it's going to get relatively difficult. It might even be easier just to go ahead and do two every minute than do one every 30 seconds. But that's why I'm trying this out to see. I don't see a point in going any slower than that, though. It's just going to delay the whole process, make it take longer and more annoying. Did I even click the last one? I don't know. Let's see. I'm going to check that later. It's at 44, 30 seconds. I'll remember that. 44 minutes. See if I actually recorded that. Ooh. Yeah, one every 30 seconds actually gets a little rushed just because doing one takes about 10 seconds. But I love the pace that it's going. So that's 60. We're not even tired yet. We're not even fully warmed up yet, honestly. So I'm really interested to do some more running and see how this has increased my cardio overall. I know for a fact it has. This has increased all kinds of random stuff, cardio just being one of them. But all of these other calisthenics movements I was not really able to do before, I can now do. Remember to breathe, guys. So the harder you exhale and you time your breathing, the easier a rep of anything is going to be. So you'll notice me exaggerating my breath work a little bit. It makes it 1,000 times easier. It's something I figured out when I was doing pull-ups by the thousands. Breath work is so important. It also keeps your mind calm and level. Breath work is one of the simplest and easiest ways to control your mind, focus your mind, enter a flow state, lower your anxiety, all kinds of stuff. There's so many benefits to just breathing correctly. Boom. So I am slowing down my pace slightly just to stay ahead of the fatigue. If you can prevent yourself from even feeling a little fatigue, that's really what you want to do. That goes for all endurance training. Once you start to get fatigued, you're playing catch up from there on, which is fine. It just makes the mental battle so much more difficult. 65. It's also so important training out here in the heat to stay hydrated. Little sips here and there, like the reps, so I don't get behind on my hydration and then have to chug, which will make me nauseous or cramp up. So, super important to remember to just keep drinking water. 66. I'm going to throw my sponge back under the glove. It's just, there's too much blistering already to risk tearing my hand open right now, this early on. Over and over and over and over. One rep at a time. Definitely getting to the point where I can just spam one over and over and over again. I don't even feel like I'm about to fail one, so it used to be I had to really put focus on the form every time or else I would get stuck under the bar, and now I could literally just do one over and over and over again. So that's the goal. Get a little boring. We're at 70 so far. Obviously I can do 2 at a time, 3 at a time, 4 at a time, but it compounds so much quicker than if I was to just do 1 at a time. $72. Last time I was, well, in my first days of training, getting to 100 was quite an accomplishment, and now I'm barely even getting warmed up. when I hit 100. So we'll see how exponential the training seems to be. That's 75 in under an hour. Yeah, I love a good pre workout. What kind did you take? Some of those are a little too much, honestly. Like the beta alanine, I don't know if yours has beta alanine in it or not. That stuff makes your skin like burn a little bit, which it's supposed to like stimulate you because, you just feel like you're on fire, literally. Um, but it's like, dang, do I really need all that? So, hell yeah. Um, yeah, I think C4 usually has a lot of beta alanine, which those are some of the best energy drinks I've ever had. Like I feel like I'm tweaking on those. But the problem is with certain energy, like there's a crash. So it's like you gotta find that sweet spot of immediate energy and then long-term energy. And but when you're tired in the morning, there's nothing better than just to be able to ignite that fire. It's like caffeine is the one thing I'll probably never give up. Maybe I'll take some time off of it just so I'm not dependent completely on it, but I don't see why a cup of coffee in the morning or an energy drink when you get tired is a bad thing. As long as your body's healthy, like it's such a beneficial thing. Yeah, that beta alline's crazy. I remember the first time I was like, no, what is happening? And then I realized, oh, that little bit of discomfort, that little bit of like stimulation actually does help you a lot. Yeah, if it ever gets too bad, I think you can take a Benadryl. The only problem is Benadryl will make you sleepy, so it kind of negates the whole point of taking it in the first place. But I think I took because I had the powdered C4. It had a ton of beta alanine in it. I think I took a little too much one time, and I had to take a Benadryl, and it immediately canceled out the skin itching feeling. 80. Climbing right along. My biggest concern is the sun right now. I really may have to cave and put on some sunscreen. I hate using sunscreen. It makes me feel all sticky and weird, but it's better than getting absolutely fried. Mm. 'Kay, I think I'm finally getting to the point where I don't have to worry about injury as much, as long as I'm not pushing myself way too hard. When I first started training, it was a big concern of mine. I'm like, dang, when I get to the hundreds and then to over 1,000, how am I going to know whether I'm just sore or whether I'm on the verge of tearing muscle? And now I feel like my body's adapted enough to where probably not going to tear muscle as long as I'm smart. Throw the shades back on for extra coolness. There we go. Phone was freezing up for a second there. $85. Moving on up. I do think at 100, I'm gonna have to at 100, I'm gonna have to apply some sunscreen. I can tell I'm already getting a little burnt, so trying to make sure my phone's not overheating here. All right. All right, we're right at an hour. 85 in an hour, not bad. Not ideal, but as far as just getting my body used to this, it's pretty good. But yeah, I am gonna go see if I can find some sunscreen real quick. It is just too hot out here to be playing that game. And there is not enough melanin in my body to be doing this. $87. If I position the umbrella a little better. There we go. 88. Lucky number. Just kidding. There's no such thing as luck. Just hard work and faith. All right, I'm gonna run and find some sunscreen. Yeah, buddy. Take that, son. Off my skin a little bit. I guess realistically, I am gonna have to take my gloves off so I can actually rub this sunscreen in. Nothing wrong with a quick little break. Prevent turning into a lobster. Flexibility, guys. You have to stay flexible so you can apply sunscreen to your own back. Get my traps real good, because those things are absolutely sticking out in the sun. And my triceps. That's the main thing that gets burned on me. My tries and my traps. I hate the smell of sunscreen. All right, now let me fix my hat and I'll be ready to go. I actually got this shirt from Israel. Guns and Moses. I thought it was pretty funny. All right, now that we're nice and sun protected, guess I'll put a little bit on my face too. Stay hydrated. And we are at 89. So about halfway through. Just had to well, less than halfway because we're going to 250 today. But I realize this sun is beaming way too hard to play any game for fit. We got our wrist wraps here. If I can figure out how to put them on, that might help. And I never see anyone using these finger holes. I'm not even sure if that's really what they're designed for. I'm pretty sure they are. What else would they be? But I don't know why people don't use the finger holes. The hand pad just doesn't seem to work if it's not there. It slides to the side, just doesn't help at all if it's not in the fingers. And I put these sponges, which are pretty torn up, underneath the padding, just to give me some extra protection there. Yeah, the heat is my main contestant right now, honestly. I'm probably gonna transition to like an inside gym soon, just because I don't want to do this all summer. We'll see. All right, 91. We're back at it. This is definitely going to be the hottest training day so far. There's really not many rules. It's just a matter of keeping good form, which I do not count a rep if it's not good form. You have to have 2 camera angles recording the entire time. You have to have a judge there. I'm not really sure how that works, but I know back in the day, you had to like literally pay to fly them out and stuff. You had to have a judge there watching the whole time. Now I'm not sure if they still have to be there the whole time or not. You have to have an official timekeeper. I'm not sure what qualifies them as official. You have to have official like physical trainer, someone who has some actual degree of knowledge, whether it's like physical therapy or whatever they may be educated in. And then there's a couple more things as well. But as far as like the rules go, I don't think there's many rules. It's just like, are you doing a correct muscle up with the correct form? And are you doing it within the allotted time? So spamming one over and over and over again seems like cheating, but as far as I know, it's 1000% acceptable. And so it could be, as long as your bar is a solid metal bar. I'm pretty sure it has to be metal because there can't be any flexibility to it. Because some bars, if they're flexible, you can actually use that kind of like as a spring to gain momentum. So they want it to be a straight, solid bar. That way, there's no arguing if you're somehow getting help from the bar itself. Um, and yeah, it has to start from a dead hang, obviously, with arms fully extended, and then reach to this all the way up. No kipping allowed, no swinging allowed. So yeah, like I said, I need to really watch the people who have beat the past record to see how good was their form, what techniques did they use. But pretty much every minute is going to be the standard, like doing a set every minute, at least two, which is a really doable pace for me. Two every minute for 20 hours would get me the record. But I'm probably going to contact a gym like I did last time. I got in contact with a CrossFit gym, and they said I could train there whenever. I could use the gym to actually attempt the record whenever. So, a lot of gyms, they will support me fully just because it puts their name on the map. And they can say, yeah, a person beat the record in this gym. It's good bragging rights. So I'll get a more controlled environment going as I get to the higher numbers, like 1,000 plus. I'll probably start training indoors with more knowledgeable people. And then it's just a matter of getting the equipment and the right people to time keep and stuff like that. And just getting a judge to come out and watch. But as far as the rules go, the only thing I can really see being a problem is like if my form started to suck. So that's why I'm doing all this training beforehand, trying to really master my form. I'm not bending my legs, keeping them straight. Yeah, I need to really make sure that I have all the rules completely settled before I actually do the attempt. But so far, I'm not seeing any like real specific things that they could disqualify me for. And the craziest part is there's no drug testing for Guinness World Records. So a lot of these people who beat these records are blasted out their minds on steroids. And I have never touched a steroid in my life because I do not want to ruin my youth. Like God kind of gave young men natural steroids. We have high testosterone for a reason. There's no reason to sit there and ruin what God gave you by doing steroids. So, what testosterone specifically and other steroids really help you with is being able to train more frequently and recover faster. So, someone could easily, hop on gear and out train me because they can just recover so much faster than I can. But it's not going to help you with your mind. It's not going to help you with your mind. That's the one advantage I have. Yeah, until I'm maybe like 60, 70, if there's like some new futuristic safe version of steroids and my testosterone is completely shot, because training endurance actually does really impact your testosterone levels. It can fry them. Um, so unless my testosterone is like completely shot by like age 60, I don't see me ever touching them. But once you're up into older age, I could see why you would rather have a better quality life than a terrible life for longer. What's the point of living longer if the quality isn't there? So, but as long as I'm feeling good and healthy and I'm still making progress in my fitness, I don't even see how that's tempting. There's so many young men that are like 18 on steroids. There's so many. And it's like, You're 18 years old. Your body is naturally already on gear, basically. God gave us high testosterone for a reason. Why would you ruin that? Because once you start steroids, your body will stop producing testosterone naturally. You pretty much have to stay on them forever. So why you would ruin that, I don't know. But it is crazy. It's called gymflation, like inflation. The amount of people that are doing steroids that are young men is pathetic. I have no problem bagging on them at all. No problem whatsoever. I've put a lot of unhealthy things in my body. I'm not proud of that. But I have never, ever even thought about doing a steroid. Why would you? All you have to do is work a little harder. I mean, I've made it this far off of bare minimum training. 99. I don't even know what that means. Warm up jumping? I hope you realize my feet are completely off the ground. There's no jumping. 100. Yeah, I have nothing against weightlifting though, but I will say muscle ups, calisthenics are way harder than most weightlifting. Any fatty with a little bit of muscle can pick up a weight. Can you actually maneuver your body weight in a way that's actually practical and beneficial? That's the question. If you can't, you're not as fit as you think. If you weigh 300, 400 pounds, I would hope that you can actually move around weight, because just to get up out of bed, you have to lift 300, 400 pounds. So mass moves mass. There's nothing impressive about a fatty who can move a lot of weight. It's just not impressive at all. Can you actually endure pain? Can you have the mental fortitude to endure long periods of suffering? That's impressive to me. "101. But I do like weight training as well. That's the only way to really achieve above a certain level. Weighted calisthenics is the mother of all workouts, which I like that as well. If you can maneuver your body weight and extra weight, then you're really doing something impressive. Um, but just laying on a bench and pushing the weight in there, anyone can do that. If that's all you're at, like, I don't know what to tell you. It's not very practical either. There's nothing in life where laying down on your back and pushing weight like that is really ever going to come into play. So if you work out, you should have it some degree being able to help you practically in life. For example, if you pick something heavy up, like yesterday I was moving a washer and dryer, it's going to be awkward and you're weird. You're using your whole body to maneuver that thing around corners. That's practical. And that is where like actual good training comes in handy, because you've trained all different angles and aspects of your muscles. Stagnant muscle training where you're just focusing one muscle is not really practical because that's not how lifting things in real life, moving things in real life is. That's why the muscle up is the greatest workout of all time because you use your entire upper body for it. 20 is a really good number to be at. Once you reach 20, you're in like that top 0.1% of the world. That's where I've tried to make sure like I maintain like always being able to do at least 20. Last time I checked my PR for pull-ups, it was about 30, arguably 29, 30, whether you count the last rep or not. But yeah, as long as you're going all the way down to a dead hang and going chin above, that's a full pull-up, as long as you're not using any kipping or momentum. And if you can get to 20, like that is really impressive. But I was able to do 20 pull-ups and barely any muscle ups when I first started. Because it's a totally different muscle group in your shoulders when you do a muscle up. The problem is if I do pull-ups, it's going to take away from my endurance for muscle ups. But I'll show you 10 pull-ups just for the hell of it. Ten pull-ups, perfect form. Now, if you want to really increase your pull-up game, you can do what's called a chest to bar pull-up, which is not a pull-up. A pull-up is as long as your chin gets over the bar. A chest to bar pull-up is when you pull all the way to your chest, obviously. And that is a lot harder, but it does allow you to transition to muscle ups a lot easier. But yes, even after doing 106 pull-ups, I can still do 10 pull-ups really easily after 106 muscle ups. I mean, so to me, pull-ups are like second nature. Ah, Pakistan. Nice. How's life treating you over there in Pakistan? Is it super hot there too? Because it is burning up here. Does it get super hot in Pakistan in the summer? One 109. What kind of workouts do y'all do in Pakistan? Is calisthenics big there too? $110. Thank you guys for the likes. I really appreciate it. Trying to build this channel up as much as I can before I actually go for the record. That way we can have a good stream when we actually attempt it. I'm really pumped to see how far I can take this channel. And then after I beat the record, that's really just the first stepping stone. You know, I plan on doing a lot of things. Can't just have one accomplishment and call it quits. So trying to get this channel as big as possible so that there's plenty of traction for when I achieve other goals as well. And the main thing is just to help people, motivate them, teach them, you know, techniques for working out, and bring a positive energy. Spread that positive energy, that love. Spread wisdom, faith in God, belief, and being able to accomplish anything you put your mind to. So that's what this channel is all about. I'm really a philosopher. I'm not even a fitness guy. At heart, my true calling, my true purpose in life is philosophy. It just so happens that I can use my philosophy to my advantage when I'm doing something like this. Yeah, as boring as this may be, doing one rep over and over again, it is the most efficient way to train for hours and hours and hours, and to learn the techniques that I'm going to need to actually be able to beat this record. So it's just not going to be exciting to watch me train. But the more engagement we have, the more questions you guys ask, the more I can branch off into actual practical life skills instead of just watching me do the same motion over and over again. Yeah, each one of these reps is from a dead hang. I do not use any momentum from jumping or anything like that. Can you actually see my feet? Yeah, you can see the board I'm standing on. Everyone is verifiably from a dead hang. People who jump to do muscle ups, it's not a muscle up. Like, you cannot call that a muscle up. $116, rolling right along. Yo, Pakistan guy, you still in here? What do you guys do in Pakistan? Is it more like powerlifting, or is it calisthenics, or is there a whole mix? I think I've seen like power lifters come out of that country, but I don't know. I'm interested in like the culture of lifting around the world. Huh. Welcome to the channel, Charge. Yeah, it's so interesting how our algorithms work and stuff like that. Right now, I'm just training for the muscle up world record. I'm only on day 5 of my training, but it's been going very, very well. I'm actually ahead of schedule. By Halloween, I will have this world record. So, if you want to say that you were there in the early days of my training, subscribe and you'll see within a couple months I'll be to uncharted territories, and this channel will be a lot bigger by then, I assume. Yeah, it's very interesting to see where uh where everyone comes from around the world. What about you, Charger? Do you in America or are you somewhere else? Because I get people from all over the world. Septic tank of Florida. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about Florida. I'm in North Carolina. The only other 2 states I would even ever consider to moving to are Florida or Texas. But both of those places are too hot year round. I love the fall. I love the winter. I can't see myself moving to a place where there's not at least a decent amount of the year that's cooled off. So that's why I love North Carolina. We have mountains, cities, country, and beaches, islands. We have it all in North Carolina. There's really no point in moving unless things just got out of hand and the politics really went to hell. But how is it in Florida? Yep, humid and full of bugs, things that I hate the most. But other than that, do you like living there? Yeah, I imagine there's a lot of just like old people who retire, they move to Florida. There's, like you're saying, it's just constant renovation and stuff. Although I've always wanted to go there to do like hunting the pythons and stuff, the invasive species. I think iguanas and pythons are the main animals that you can literally just year round catch, kill, and bounty hunt pretty much. I would love just to go on a random bounty hunt, but swamps scare me. Like there's all kinds of stuff out there that can get you. Parking lot chicken. You eat iguanas? I didn't know you could eat those. Is it any good? I've eaten some interesting things: alligator, squirrel, all kinds of jerky. I've actually had kangaroo jerky. I'm not scared of eating anything. I've never heard of anyone eating iguana though. That's pretty interesting. 122. We're almost halfway there. Oh, nice. I'll check your channel out when I'm done here. I'll sub, Charger. I love that one guy who does the python catching. I can't think of his name right this second. I'm sure you know who he is. But yeah, I love watching like those kinds of videos, hunting in the swamp and stuff. Yep, Python Cowboy. That's exactly what I was thinking of. That dude is awesome. But he is also an insane person. Like he goes out there at night and just boops alligators on the snout and catches giant snakes and fearless. The guy is absolutely fearless. Ooh, yeah, that's not good. Same as like tuna, the predators at the top, the bigger animal is, the higher up it is on the food chain, the more heavy metals it accumulates, like mercury, lead, because the smaller animals eat it trace amounts, but then as it works its way up, it it becomes larger amounts in these bigger apex predators because the body doesn't naturally get rid of mercury, lead, heavy metals like that. It's not used to that being in its system, so it doesn't have a way of flushing itself out. So it just stays in the meat, it stays in the body. And that's why these higher up apex predators usually have more heavy metals in them. So you definitely got to be careful with that. So I didn't know python specifically had mercury. I've only heard of like tuna, larger fish having it. It sucks too because I love tuna fish. It's such a good, clean meat. I think tuna might actually be one of the cleanest meats on the planet, but clearly not if it's loaded with toxic metals. 125. So we're exactly halfway there. Got a little of a breeze coming in now, finally. Feels really good. But yeah, Charger, I'm gonna check out your page. I'll sub. Kind of. I do a lot of hunting in rural areas. Um, but I'm kind of in the city right now. Yeah, Florida is definitely on my bucket list. I've been there before to the beach, but what was the beach? Which one did I go to? Panama City. Really nice beaches, but I want to go to like the swamp areas, do some stuff there. Where's a state that you guys, or any place in the world that is on your bucket list to travel to visit? Alaska and Florida are two of my main ones. I like how you say North Florida, like South Florida isn't in the United States. Yeah, Florida really does seem like an entire like country of its own almost, because it's not really a part of the South. It's its own little thing. I feel like Florida would be way cooler if like all the people didn't move out there just to retire and party, all that stuff. If it was more like a Texas, Florida, man, I would love to live there. Except for the bugs and humidity. That's why I love winter. There's no bugs, there's no humidity. Yeah, that's a problem around the whole world right now, honestly. And not to get political or not or anything like that, but yeah, it's a genuine problem that's going on with the entire world. European nations, America specifically also. Um, I have no problem with people trying to make their lives better, but if you're going to move to another country, like you should accept the culture that's there, try to make that place a better place, and also accept the fact that you're leaving your home country because it wasn't good enough. So why are you leaving that country and coming to a different one? Because this country is better, right? That's the only reason you would ever move out of your country to a different one. There's something wrong with that country, so you move to a better one. Therefore, acknowledge that, admit it, you're moving to a better country and help keep it that way. Don't try to turn it into the country that you ran away from that was clearly bad enough to where you had to get out of it. It's that simple of a concept. There's no arguing with that. It's not political, it's not racist. It's just pure logic. Moving from one shitty country to a better one means keep that country better. Do not turn it into the shitty country. It's that simple. Yes. Yes. If you're like willing to progress the country to make it a better place, to really pour your own talents, your own skills into it, I'm all for it because, that's how we as human beings work together and make the best out of our societies. But do not just come to another country, try to get everything for free, ruin the culture, and turn it into the country that you ran away from. That's just stupid. – 130. But yeah, over there in Europe, they're really struggling with that. They've completely lost their identity as Europeans. And there's a fine line between like nationalism and just straight up bigotry, but there's a reason we have separate nations, you know. And I really strongly believe in having separate nations as opposed to a one world order where the elite control everything and strip us of all of our freedom and rights. It's very important that, with different cultures, you have different rules, different laws, different societies. They're separate for a reason. There's borders for a reason. Yeah, as you can see, I'm just spamming one over and over again. It's so much easier than doing multiple at a time, even though I can easily do multiple at a time. Yep. And it's beautiful, Charger, how many people are coming to that realization. It used to be you're a conspiracy theorist, you're a doomer, you're all these negative things. Now people realize, oh, it is the bankers, it is the elite, the ones who are trying to continuously grow their own power while diminishing ours. That's human nature, you know. Power corrupts, and the people in power are very corrupted. They own the media, the banks, everything, right? You can literally look into this. And they specifically push their own agenda to keep us divided, to keep us fighting, to keep us at our lows. The middle class is completely vanished. Yeah, they are absolutely destroying us on purpose, very tactically, very intentionally. And the only beautiful thing out of all this is that we're all coming together to realize this. And now that more of us are understanding of the truth, we can actually plan tactically what to do next. Whether it's full blown revolt or whether it's not paying taxes, whatever the case may be, as long as we're all on the same page of what's really going on here, we can actually make a difference in the world and slowly fix a majority of the problems that we're facing. Yep, the greed. That's the human nature. It's their greed. So it's not to say that the elite class specifically is only the way they are because of their heritage or their country or whatever. No, it's a human nature problem. Greed is a very, very bad problem. And when people are at the highest levels of power, that greed really expresses itself further. So I'm not going to sit here and blame one group of people, but we all can clearly see the group of people that is in power, that is controlling all the strings right now. And it's more of a human nature problem. That's why the forefathers of America designed this country. So even if the people in power have that corruption, they had that greed because it's natural in our flesh, that there's still a balance of power, right? That's the whole idea of our entire system. It was a genius setup, but it's been completely nullified and destroyed the way that they've divided us and strengthened the central power of the um, federal government. You know, it's pretty bad. But there's so many people that are aware of it now. I think we have a chance in fixing things. The only problem that I see is AI being so smart, so powerful. If they use it to their advantage, man, that's going to be a hard, hard battle to fight. Yep, exactly, Charger. Exactly. Just don't participate in their games. Don't give them any more power than they already have. It's that simple. You know, we don't have to go out and die in the street. We can just start there. Um, but yeah, like you're saying, educate ourselves, be physically fit, eat real foods. That's where it all starts. So we aren't so dependent on them. And it starts really with like, yeah, getting fit, building the strength in your mind, building the strength in your body, feeling good, feeling like you actually have some motivation to stand up for yourself. That's where it all starts. If you are just a blob on the couch, you're meant to be a slave to the system. You have no fighting bone in your body, let alone enough to really make a difference in the world. So that's what I'm actually all about is becoming stronger, wiser, and better every single day. That way I can actually make a positive impact on the world and resist the evil forces that are at hand. I hope so, Charger. I hope AI will self-destruct. That would be a beautiful thing. I hope it either plateaus completely to where its abilities are stagnant for a while, or yes, I hope it like self-destructs like you're saying. I just know that the elite are using AI as much as they can to their advantage. But there's also the possibility that it can kind of level the playing field so that the common man can also use it to their advantage to resist the system. The problem is the people who actually own the thing, the people who are programming it, who are training it, are the elites, right? Like they're specifically doing it. It's going to be able to manipulate us so easily because it's just that vast and powerful and smart. It's a tricky road ahead, but as long as people like me and you are actually talking about this, are actually spreading truth and motivation to actually resist, that's a amazing start. But yeah, I feel like the American dream is slowly dying. I mean, we live in one of the greatest times ever because if you're born a peasant, you can still rise above. For thousands of years, that wasn't the case with human beings. Now, if you're born a peasant, you can. You can literally just start a YouTube channel like I'm doing and work your way to the top. But the American dream has slowly been diminishing. It's just not the same. A normal job will not get you a comfortable life anymore. You really have to excel in some way or another. Yeah, AI is the biggest factor that's just like unpredictable. I have no idea what's to come, how to resist it, how to keep it from becoming too powerful, any of that. It's such a complex, unforeseen future. It adds a whole wrench into the process of creating this resistance. But America has clearly become like an empire. For all my life, I was of the assumption that America is the superheroes. They're the good guys. They're the ones really making a positive impact on the world. But the more you look at how America itself behaves, the more you start to wonder, okay, is this like Star Wars? America is the empire with Darth Vader in charge, just freaking going around bullying other countries. It's a hard pill to swallow. Um, and I'm not going to get too political or anything, but it's something we really have to look at ourselves, look at our system, and think, okay, is this what we want to do? Because we, the people, are in charge. The government works for us. We're not supposed to be letting them boss us around, tell us how the world's supposed to work. No, we, the people, are the ones that make that call. 138. Got me blabbing, Charger. I got to be careful here. I'm going to fall behind schedule. But no, that's what this channel is really all about, is talking about things that matter like that. Like you're saying, the biggest first steps are just like get your mind and body in the right condition. So as you can see, I'm spamming one rep over and over again to save energy on the dismount, because here the muscle up is complete. So all I really have to do is drop down like that. I save a lot more energy than having to catch myself and do another rep. So after hundreds of reps, that adds up and it saves a lot of energy. Yeah, it's almost like we need a complete reset, Charger. Parasites are way too deep rooted. I don't know how you do a big reset like that quick enough to make a difference, but also not too much to where the entire system collapses. Well, I guess that is what you want, the system to collapse, but you don't want people to starve. You don't want people to die. But so how do we get as smooth as a transition as possible to weed out all the parasites, but not completely destroy society as we know it, to where everyone's dying and starving? But if that's what it takes, if it takes mass casualties, so be it. Our forefathers did not create this country. You do not have people dying in wars for it to end up like this. So if it's going to take a lot of doom just to get us back to a place of freedom, then so be it. But yeah, that's what we have to figure out, Charger, is like, how do we reset? And I think it does start with like, okay, stop willingly participating in their games. Stop giving them half of your income in taxes. It's probably more of that when you think about property tax, sales tax. Freaking, they tax you just for dying. Like that. They tax you every way possible. So they're taking half of our money right off the bat. Okay. Are you using that money for good? Like, obviously, I want a good fire department. I want a good safety net for society, but most of the tax money that they collect is not being used for good. Had to get another bottle of water. We're going to keep moving right along, though, guys. Feel free to chime in any opinions you may have, any wisdom you may have, any suggestions for resisting the evil forces at hand that destroy our country. 143. Yeah, I can only imagine. That seems like the money laundering capital, Miami and DC. Well, I don't know. DC, they're doing all kind of like insider trading, which, by the way, how is that still a thing that's going on? You got these politicians worth millions and millions of dollars. Their salary is not that high. They're clearly doing insider trading, I mean, and everyone's doing it. It's not just one political party or the other. It's literally all of the politicians doing it. Some are just amazing at doing it, like Nancy Pelosi. I mean, she's worth millions and millions. One of the best stock traders of all time, obviously because she's doing insider trading. That's completely illegal. It's completely corrupt. How is this something that's just going on and on and on with no end? It's pathetic. Our forefathers are probably rolling in their grave. Yep, exactly, Charger. That's really the name of the game right now. Is like, just do not fall into their traps. They've really created these traps deep, deep, deep. I mean, these traps go so deep. We are completely brainwashed into thinking that there's nothing we can even do. That's really what they've got us cornered in. And I do kind of blame the older generations for allowing it to get this bad. But I can't help that they aren't intelligent enough to be self-aware of what's going on in the country to stop it. Hindsight's 2020. But it used to be you could have just a normal job and have a very comfortable life. That was the true American way. It's like it reached this peak, and then all of a sudden, people creep their way into power, and they have been taking advantage of us and enslaving us ever since. Yeah, it's like, okay, if they create the laws, if they control which laws are being enforced and which ones aren't, then of course they can get away with doing whatever they want. I mean, you had the whole Epstein file thing that just never amounted to anything. You got Ghislaine Maxwell convicted of human trafficking, but no one else convicted of who she was human trafficking to. Was she doing it just herself? No. You can't human traffic someone if it's just you. That's just kidnapping. Human trafficking requires a transaction. Okay, then who's on the other end of that transaction? How is that something that's completely looked over? So it comes a time where we do have to take things into our own hands. Um, but unfortunately, they beat us into submission to where everyone's too scared, everyone's too filtered. But we are reaching a point of being fed up to where I do think Americans are realizing, like, okay, now is the last chance to do something. If we don't do something now, we're showing them that we'll never do something. 146. Yeah, I mean, who would want to be a politician in the first place? Because I think about it all the time. Like, I don't want to control other people's lives. I don't want to abuse power. I don't want to be a greedy, like slave master. No, that doesn't. I want to live my own life, worry about myself. I'll try to teach other people and encourage them to live the best lives as possible. But I don't want to force anyone to fit into my picture of life. That's the whole idea of freedom. And so, the only people who want to be politicians are the people who want to control other people. So that mindset alone is like screwed from the get go. We need politicians who actually want to make a difference in the country and improve it, even on the local level. But yeah, it's hard to find those people and it's hard to motivate them to actually enter this corrupt system and make a difference. Because how are you going to be the one guy who's standing up for what's right and the entire political system is against you? How are you supposed to actually make a difference? You can't. You can't. You need a whole country behind you backing you to actually stand up to this corrupt, evil system. Yeah, the bankers have to be stopped. They have to be stopped. That's where the main problems are coming from, and we have to stand up to them. We have to show them this ain't gonna fly anymore. There will be justice. You will face severe consequences for the crimes you've committed. We're all aware of you now. You know, we're aware of the evil that you've been doing with operations like Epstein. If you think Epstein's the only operation, the only blackmail operation going on, you're insane. There's probably hundreds of those operations going on, and Epstein's the only one that we really got concrete proof of. Um, but we have to actually stand up to these bankers to show them, all right, you're gonna play this game. We got something for you. It's called consequences. Yeah, unfortunately, it does require people to actually be desperate enough to put their own lives on the line to resist. But ideally, you want to start your resistance before it gets to that point to minimize as much damage as possible. But like you're saying, as long as people are slightly comfortable and distracted and fighting amongst each other, they're not going to stand up to the system. Yep, exactly, Charger. Once once they like bought out the Rothschilds essentially bought out the country from its debt. That's when the gold standard went away and we pretty much lost our freedom at that point. It was all a system set up for failure at that point. You can really trace it back to specifically the Rothschilds. And if there's enough of us speaking out against them, they can't kill us all. I mean, I don't have enough influence for them to actually care. They could try to cancel me. I don't have enough impact already, so they're not going to. But the point is, if there's millions of men like me who are saying this, they cannot stop us all. The only thing I do worry about is AI. I think that it's called the great noticing, right? Everyone's noticing who's pulling the strings. We're finally noticing the puppet masters, right? Why all of a sudden are they allowing us to speak out against them on social media? We know they control the social media aspects too. I wonder if it's bait. I wonder if they're using all this to see who is compliant, who's not. And as soon as AI is strong enough to actually really devastate us, if they will use AI to determine who is a danger to their power, who's the complacent sheep. And I don't know if they're literally just going to kill us off or just diminish our freedom as much as possible to where we can't really resist them anymore. Once they control all of our money, because everything's just digital currency, they control all of the media, they control everything. It's going to be really hard to resist in any shape or form. Notice what they did in Canada with those truck drivers during COVID, where even if you were donating to help them eat, your bank account got frozen, right? We know that they'll do these kinds of things. We know they will straight up freeze our bank accounts. They'll starve us out. I do wonder if they're allowing the great noticing to take place so that an AI can classify every single human being as either a threat to the elite or a complacent sheep. And if you are a threat, you will be punished, you will be disabled to a certain level to where, you know, essentially it's like the social credit score in China. They're going to make sure that we cannot resist in any way possible. That's my biggest fear. But maybe the noticing has just become too strong for them to censor. That's the only hope that I have for that. Because otherwise, why would they allow these big names to actually say the things they're saying? I mean, that's a good point. Cut the fiber optic cables, and AI gets a lot less powerful. Yeah. I mean, we need people who are able to hack. We need really smart computer nerds on our side in this resistance to deal with the whole AI problem. Because if we can hack into their systems, I mean, that gives us a level playing field. Yep, exactly. It all starts with the education system. They've been psyoping us and pushing us, forcing us into this bubble, putting us in debt with higher education. It's all a technique for control, all of it. None of it is unintentional. Yes, exactly. They are controlled opposition. At least that's a theory. But none of this is even conspiracy anymore. You can't even really claim that this is I'm just a crazy paranoid person. No, you can do all the research on the stuff that they own. Like they own Google. You can find all this out for yourself on Google. They can't even hide it. A lot of times they don't even hide it at all. They're out in the open about it. They wave it right in our faces. Heck yeah. I first became against the system when I realized that 9/11 was fishy. That there was something else going on there. I never made like concrete assumptions because I don't know everything that's going on behind the scenes, but I knew something's not quite right here. Building 7 collapsing on its own, never getting hit by a plane. It just collapsed because of a little fire. Come on now. Why didn't the news ever talk about that? If it's nothing to hide, why don't people even know that? Why don't people know about Building 7? Because it was specifically hidden from the mainstream narrative. And that's when I realized about 9/11, that's when I started realizing, okay, there is a lot more going on than what we're being told. But I mean, they had that book 1984 back in the day where, that was George Orwell. He was, predicting by 1984 things would be basically like a Terminator apocalypse where the government is completely enslaving everyone and controlling their minds. So they've been theorizing, really smart people have been theorizing how this is going to play out for many, many decades to where 1984 was once the future where everything was going to be doomed. And now we're in 2026 and we are really entering that phase where it's like, okay, this is actually like 1984 or worse. Brave New World. Yeah. It's like, okay, you shouldn't drive yourself insane over this stuff, but we do have to acknowledge reality. We can't just pretend like this isn't happening. So a lot of people think that you're crazy because what are you going to do? You can't do nothing. Yeah, that's what they've psychologically manipulated into believing. You can't do nothing. Yes, we can. Do you remember the forefathers who were just a bunch of young men, literally like teenagers basically, taking on the greatest military in the world, the British Empire, with the greatest navy in the world? And they absolutely dog walked them. They dog walked them. You have George Washington creeping across a frozen lake at night, Christmas night or Christmas Eve night, I can't remember which one, and just absolutely stacking bodies over a 3% tax on tea. Stacking bodies. You think that people didn't tell them you can't do nothing? It's the greatest military in the world. How are you going to resist them? Yes, of course they were told that, and they did it anyways. So I don't believe for a second there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. Yeah, right. There's plenty we can do about it, and we're going to, or we'll die trying. Yeah, the smartphones are 100% a leash, so to put it. Unfortunately, they've also made it to where to function in society properly, you do need a smartphone. I guess you don't need it, but like it's really hard to function normally, especially to excel. Well, unfortunately, I already do have debt from school, from student loans. But that's the only debt I really have. And yeah, I do think that's probably one of the biggest ways that they will control us. It's a scary thought. Yeah, the best thing I can do is just try to get out of debt as soon as possible. That's part of this whole thing is to develop financial freedom, financial independence. That's part of why I'm doing all of this. It's not just to get the world record and have bragging rights. It's to prove myself so that I can slowly gain financial independence. How do you not have a cell phone though, Charter? That's crazy. So I guess you're on yeah, that's smart. Definitely go with scholarships if you can. Don't put yourself in debt over a degree that might be useless in a few years because AI is taking all the jobs. Um, but how do you function without a cell phone? That is crazy to me, Charger. We're at 156, by the way, guys. Yeah, I do plan to have my own like all right, my stream crashed. But yeah, see if Charger comes back in here. Sorry, my stream crashed. I was just talking to Charter. He was saying he has a payphone in his backyard. That is the craziest thing I've ever heard. I didn't even know payphones still work. $161. Rolling a little behind pace here. I was in some deep conversation with Charger. He's like off the grid completely. It's really impressive that someone has actually. I wonder how many people are like that. That they don't even have a cell phone. They have a payphone in their backyard. They're not in any debt. They're completely escaping the system. All right, we're at 166. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Yo, Charger, you still in here? 167. Oh yeah, we're starting to feel it now. 1 second, guys. $170. So I've only got 80 to go. And the biggest thing I'm fighting right now is just the sun. Just a boring grind from here. That's 175. So what's that? 25, 75 more to go. So I'm in the short rows now. Feeling pretty good. So not sure exactly how long this will take, but I'm not rushing to finish it. I just want to make sure I hit my goal of 250, regardless of how slow my pace is. All right, so let's see. The stream says it's 160 in. I wonder if it's still. Yeah, no, actually, it was because someone kept freaking calling my phone, dude. Like, if I deny your call the first time, catch the hint, and text me or leave a voicemail, do not keep spamming my phone. That was insane. The audacity, the disrespect to do that. Anyways, I'm glad you're back, Charger. Um, that's the problem with trying to do everything off of a cell phone. Something that you don't have, which I'm still in disbelief that you don't have a cell phone. That's crazy. Because I feel like, how do you function in the like the business world, the technical world of things without one? But I could see how it's possible. You could live completely off grid technically. But do you think it's really necessary that we try to minimize our digital footprint in the world, or do you think we could still resist the system without having to sacrifice technological vices, so to speak? We're at 181. Right. Yeah, that's the thing. They can literally just track us 24/7, listen to us 24/7. The cell phones are the great spy device that they need to literally peer into any of our lives at all times. It's actually crazy. Ever since 9/11, they passed the Patriot Act. They have the legal ability to spy on us for whatever reason at all times. Now that they have AI, before this was like a crazy concept because like they can't, no one can sit there like and spy on us 24/7. They can't listen to us 24/7. There's not enough FBI. There's not enough officials that can sit there and track all of our data. It's just impossible to get all the data at once. But with AI, it can summarize all of our data. It can red flag all certain parts of our data. AI can organize everyone's data into a very, very digestible piece. So that is why AI is such an important technology that they can use to spy on us more efficiently. And that's why they're building all these data centers, these gigantic data centers, in order to have AI record and process all of our information more efficiently. It essentially creates one giant spy system. Right, exactly. We have to learn to manipulate AI into a way that we want to manipulate it. We cannot just give it free access to all of our information, all of our personal lives. It'll be able to use it against you. Your own router. See, the thing is, I'm not very like technologically educated, so I need to learn about more stuff like that. How to get off the grid better and stuff like that. Building your own router, I have no idea where I would even start for something like that. But yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, the data centers are a weird, weird thing going on right now. They're going to use the environment to try to cool them, and it's like, what are they really doing with those? It's definitely a suspicious activity because I mean, I get it. AI requires a lot of power, but clearly we are a surveillance state. Like they are clearly spying on us 24/7. So if you think that they're not going to use these data centers to help spy on us, that is a really naive way to look at things. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're talking about these things are going to be like 60 miles by 60 miles. That's insane. Like, imagine driving, like someone put it, for an hour straight, and the only thing you see the entire time you're driving is one of these giant data centers. That is so insane. And as technology's gotten better and more efficient, we've been able to compress hardware to a very, very small thing. The idea that they need 60 square miles of data center everywhere shows that they're really up to something crazy. It's not just chatbots, like you're saying. It's not just to increase the efficiency of AI. There is something else going on for sure. But yeah, I'm interested to see where the whole AI future takes us. There's a lot of potential for it to create good and use it as a tool to our advantage, like in the medical field or, you know, just basic knowledge and stuff like that. But clearly, the people who are programming it and are using it are most obsessed with it are the people who want to use it for their own gain of power. All right, we're at 185. This is definitely starting to. I'm definitely starting to feel it, which is good that I made it all the way to 185 and not feeling any soreness until now, and it's not even that bad. So I should be able to finish pretty strong here. Yeah, that's crazy, Charger. A payphone in your backyard is crazy work. I do wonder if us as a society is even going to be able to attempt to decrease our digital footprints, our reliance on technology. I think, it's good to have a lot of people like that who are trying to minimize the ability that those in power have to actually control and track and spy and all that stuff. But I do think also you have to accept that the future is inevitable. Technology is inevitable. We have to find a way to resist the powers that be while still advancing in our technological future. You're not going to get people off their phones. You're not going to get people to commit to a uh, a system of just complete self reliability. A lot of these people couldn't do that if they had all the resources in the world. So I do think it's good for a lot of people to realize that you can do it, but I do think we also have to find strategies where we can still balance technology and resistance. But yeah, we're at 185. We've got what, 65 to go. Right. Yeah, that's a good point, Charter. We can't be too reliant on it. It can't be the whole backbone of our society. Like you're saying, without it, we would completely collapse. That's no bueno. So yeah, there also needs to be a balance in, like, okay, can you live without it? And a lot of people are so addicted to their phones. I don't think people realize this is one of the most addictive things to ever happen to humans. The quick stimulation, the quick dopamine release from just doom scrolling is very bad for the brain. It creates very impulsive mindset where everything's quick, easy, cheap dopamine. You're not actually working for your dopamine. You're just getting it for free as soon as you pull out your phone. It's very poisonous to the brain. So yeah, you've got a good point. You do have to learn to navigate technology in a way that's not completely detrimental. Yeah, EMP would be devastating. Devastating. It's probably one of the biggest apocalyptic events that I try to prepare mentally for because of how devastating it would be. I'm not sure how long the effects of it would last, but I'm pretty sure you can't just reboot the power, reboot everything right after. I'm pretty sure an EMP fries things, right? It fries the system. You'd have to build a new system, right? Like you can't just restart it after the EMP goes off. Not to mention, EMP usually implies some sort of atmospheric nuclear explosion. So if we're going into a nuclear apocalypse where nuclear weapons are being used, that's an even bigger problem on our hands. But it would definitely disable our entire society like that, and that's not good. Um, but yeah, is there a way to do an EMP without nuclear power? I know a lot of EMP knowledge is kind of speculative because we haven't tested these theories very well, because you have to use immense amount of nuclear power or whatever it may be to actually even replicate the effects of it. But they say, the fairway bag, stuff like that would protect your devices, but that's again something you would have to test to know. Most cars use computer programming. So is most cars would be fried as well from an EMP. So you're talking about transportation, and the entire economy relies on digital. You're talking about everything being useless overnight. It would be probably the worst apocalyptic event that you can imagine. Right, like a solar flare could also do a natural EMP at any time. These aren't things we can predict. They could, the sun does have solar flares. It does randomly sometimes just act sporadically. So it doesn't even have to be a technical attack. It could just be a natural event that takes place. Really. See, I figured Faraday bags are somewhat like a gimmick, but I don't know enough about the science to say one way or the other. We're gonna start dropping down like that to save energy here at the end. 188. Oh man, that saves so much energy just to fly down like that. A steel case enclosure is crazy, just to block the effects of an EMP. Yeah, I think our enemies will try to create a collapse from the inside instead of an actual attack. I think that makes more sense. And our society is so unstable; it doesn't take much to create that collapse. All it would take is a little bit of digital chaos. 190. So we're 60 away. If a magnet can work through a container, it's not real Faraday enclosure. Vacuum tubes. Interesting. I tried to research this stuff a while back, and a lot of the science was inconclusive. So I kind of just gave up. But it makes sense. Yeah, if a magnet can get through, like, of course an EMP can get through and disrupt whatever's inside. What? That's crazy. You built one. Surely it requires an immense amount of power, though, right? Is that a lot? 1 kilowatt in a microsecond? Sounds like a lot. Huh. That's diabolical. That is diabolical. Charger. Yeah, you could ruin people's entire days like that. Yeah, that's what I've heard. The older cars can survive it pretty easily because there's not, computers inside of it to start it up and everything else. But I mean, with the way our economy functions, like you can't even buy stuff without power. You can't transport goods. I mean, we'd be in big trouble. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check out your channel, Charger. See what you got going on over there. So if you can create one, surely like anyone who's trying to create mass chaos could easily create one too, right? It's not like as complex as creating a nuclear bomb or anything, I wouldn't assume. But I don't know the science that goes into something like that. Yeah. Being around self-sufficient people that can keep, you know, the cycle of life going, that is the best way to live. We as humans are not meant to live individually. We are social creatures. Our strengths come from numbers, right? Like, so if you're going to survive a catastrophic event, it is most likely going to be with a community. It's not going to be just alone. What? Okay, that's scary. If it's easy to make one, that's terrifying. Because that's really all you need to disable our entire nation. I mean, obviously, you would need multiple ones. The smaller they are, the more you would need. But you get enough people who are crazy enough to do something like that around the country, you could shut down the entire country very easily, especially if you use strategic points of impact. And believe it or not, that might actually be something that we could use in resistance. If things get too carried away, if AI gets too powerful, if we turn into a Terminator scenario where you got robots and AI just freaking watching our every move, that would be one of the most advantageous things in the world, is to be able to strategically use EMPs to stop the tyranny. 30 feet, yeah. So that's a very small area. Um, but good enough to work, like I'm saying, in a situation where you need to black out everything around you. Like, would that also stop drones? I know they're using fiber optic now, like in the Russia-Ukrainian war, where there's just spider webs of millions of miles of fiber optic cables. So I guess a fiber optic cable would still work, but an EMP would still shut it down, surely, right? Huh, that's hilarious, Charger. That is hilarious. A directed EMP, okay. Even if it has fiber optic connectivity, it's still going to fry the computer inside of it. So, yeah, it'd probably just fall out the sky. Yeah, I mean, if we ever reach absolutely desperate times, that's who we're going to need. People like you who can actually help us build these things, explain to us how technology works in order to actually resist it, because there's plenty of resistance we can do. We're a very heavily armed nation. But when you're talking about a technological level, there's only so much resistance we can do unless we have people like you to help us be more knowledgeable and effective in the way that we can move forward. Yeah, that's what I figured. Everything digital is like vulnerable. And that's great to know that you could easily build one of these things and protect yourself, like from actual Terminator robots that are coming to kill you. Not to get too science fiction and apocalyptic, I think that they have much smarter ways to control us than killing us off with robots. But if it did come down to it, they're not gonna actually fight us with their own selves. They're gonna use technology to their advantage. Yeah, I mean, I can't even lie. I'm pretty ignorant to this stuff. Like, I've done a little bit of research so that I'm not completely clueless as to how the whole country works and the system we're dependent on as far as technology goes. But I'm not like educated in it by any means, like to actually explain it to someone else. Definitely something I have to put more thought and effort into. 198. We're almost to that 200. Yeah. Well, for a long time, that is the case, Charger. They don't want to kill us off. They just want to enslave us. But now that they have AI to use as slaves, we are losing our value as slaves. AI slaves, robot slaves, whatever you want to call it, they have no chance of resistance. So the sheep, they want to keep alive. But people like me and you who are willing to speak out against them, who are willing to resist them in every way possible, people like me and you, they have no problem killing. I mean, that's just, it makes sense to me. They'll keep the sheep alive, the complacent sheep that they can manipulate and they can scare. But people like me and you, I do see them wanting to kill us off for sure. Yeah, chemistry and physics, super important. And knowledge is power in general. Like, if you don't have knowledge, you have nothing going for you. $199. 200. We're only 50 away. Yep, exactly. But luckily, there's so many like-minded people like us now. They can't stop us all. It's too late. Yeah, they want to really push us into a bubble. Um, it's clear as day what they're doing. That's why I'm out here training. Fortify my mind, fortify my body. So I'm not weak mentally. I'm not easy to manipulate. I'm not easy to control. I'm not easy to kill. All right, reached the double digits and likes. That's good. Gotta try to keep building this channel as much as possible. Really appreciate the conversation, Charger. It helps so much to distract my mind a little bit and just keep moving without even thinking about it. So yeah, I love the engagement. Thank you a lot for chiming in. 205. I'm getting there. Only 45 left. I think I am going to put my shirt back on just to avoid sunburn as much as possible. Whew. Yeah, it's awesome how we can connect all around the world, share ideas, share motivation, share knowledge. I love I love the positive aspects of the internet. It's pretty cool. All right, guys, we are currently at 205. Shirt had to come back on just to avoid sunburn. Ah, thank you, Motivation, with Eric. I really appreciate that. Right now, we're just spamming one rep over and over again to maintain stamina. I'm at 206. And the dismount is a lot easier when there's only one rep at a time. I can just drop straight down onto my feet instead of wasting energy catching myself. See how fast I drop down? That's just to conserve energy. I could do more than one rep at a time. Right now, I'm just trying to condition my body to go at it for hours instead of increase my endurance to its max. I'm just trying to increase my overall mental fortitude. But yeah, keep spreading your motivation. That's one of the best things you can do for humanity is just motivate people to be better and to accomplish their goals and dreams. And that's another thing, Charger. They are trying to kill our motivation. They're trying to make us very depressed and reliant. If you have your own personal motivation, you don't need daddy government telling you how to live or exactly what to do with your life. You have your own motivation to carry you as far as you want it to. And essentially, what I'm instilling in my brain is just the fact that I can do things that I think are impossible. This mindset is what allows people to, it's how this nation was created. It wasn't created off of being sure that you're going to win, being sure that you can accomplish these insane feats. It was off of just the motivation and the belief in themselves to actually do something about it. So I'm teaching myself that even things that I think are impossible are actually possible. We're at 211, so that's less than 50 to go. Sorry, the umbrella has a mind of its own. Ooh, my phone is overheating. Gotta bang these last 45 out as quick as possible so my phone doesn't explode. Actually, it's 35 now. 215, 35 left. This has gotten easier and easier every time. My first training sessions, getting to 100 was a little scary. I was scared I was literally going to hurt myself. Now I'm at 217 and I don't even feel sore. 218. Try and knock these out as fast as possible, but also don't want to overdo it here at the end. I've really got to find a better system for this umbrella. It keeps my phone a lot cooler than it usually would. We're at 219, so we are cruising. It's become exponentially easier every time I've done this training. Even though I'm going to a higher number, it gets easier and easier. I don't even feel hardly any pain right now. So we've only got 30 more to go, and there's no way that should take any longer than 30 minutes. So feeling very good about this training session. I could just get this umbrella to stay put. There we go. Yeah, this has gotten really easy. Hypothetically, I could just do training sessions like this over and over and over again, and eventually my stamina would be good enough to actually beat the record. But my plan is to keep climbing up in the ladder instead of just doing a few hundred every other day to exponentially increase so I can fortify my mind in the process. Two, two, two. Two, two, three. Favorite caliber. Two, two, five. Only 25 more left. gonna grab some more water. Oh my gosh. Refreshing. It's insane how much water you can drink while doing this. Two two nine. $230. Only 20 more to go, guys. 231. Can't believe how easy this has gotten. The hardest part has become battling the sun. Taking my case off so that my phone can hopefully cool down a little bit. Two, 3, 6, less than 15 to go. We're gonna try to bang these out as quick as possible. That's 240, 10 more. We've only got 9 more to go, guys. We're gonna make it. Easy mode, easy mode, easy mode. We're at 243. We only got 7 left. Five more. It's not even blowing wind that hard. What is this thing doing? 5 more. Yeah, Charger, I'm almost there. It's been a very productive day. Starting to feel the burn now. 4 more. Two more. Uno más. All right, guys, we are at 2:49. This is the very last one. This is going to be under 3 hours and 45 minutes that I've completed. 250. My pace is increasing. My stamina is increasing. I don't feel on the verge of injury. This has been a great training session. Thank you, everyone that's come. Do my last one, and I'll see my hands. Check on my hands and see how they're doing. All right, this is the last one. Yeah, 250, baby. Light work. Let's check the hands. That's 250, under 3 hours and 45 minutes. Do a super quick hand check, and then to go take a cold shower. Oh, yeah, my hands look fine. They don't look hardly any worse than what they were. So that's 250, well under 4 hours. I feel great. Thanks, everyone, for stopping by, all the likes, all the comments. Thank you, Charger, for keeping me motivated and keeping me occupied, having some important conversation. I'll see you guys next time, and I'll be sure to check out your channel, Charger. Appreciate it, man. See you guys later.